Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a new video for you today with Tupelo Designs LLC. I'm going to be using this Concord 9th Wildflowers stamp set with the floral and flutter dies. So I'm just starting out with my Misty, kind of placing my stamps and trying to figure out my layout. And I'm going to do multiple stamping, so you're going to see some layers. And you can use masking paper for the layers. Or you can use what I did with sticky notes and then take some Tombow or another repositionable glue. Tombow I like because if you put it on and then wait till it's dry, it's repositionable, so you can lift it back up carefully. So that's what I use, because I find the masking paper doesn't always stick very well and you can't really reuse it. But these I can reuse. So I used two of the flower images in this set, the large one and the smaller one, and I wanted to stamp them to make it look as if there were varying heights and depths to the flowers. So when I mask, I will mask both. So I'll mask the larger ones, stamp through the smaller ones, and then stamp a larger one with the smaller one masked so that it looks like the smaller one's on top. Kind of fussing around with where the magnet is right there. So you want to carefully peel these off because the glue is still fairly strong, and you can tear the surface of the paper if you're not careful. And you see me put my finger adding some ink with my finger there, but I end up covering up that later. So with the Copic Coloring, I'd use 3 colors on the larger flowers. I wanted to go for like a peachy, corally kind of color for this because I wanted to do coordinating colors with blue and orangey peach color. So with the pink, I only used 2 colors on those flowers, and then I used 3 on the lighter one. So I'm going to put some music on and let you watch me color for a bit, and then I'll catch back up with you in a second. So the sentiment we're going to use is from the Being Classy stamp and die set, also from Concord 9th, and I'm using Courageous. My idea behind this card was to be an encouragement card. One of the things that I understood from my mom went through breast cancer. So having cards that said, instead of saying, "I'm sorry you're sick," or "you'll get through this," she wanted something that was encouraging. So that's what came into mind when I was doing this card. So I used the Lindy Stamp Gang embossing powder. It's a 2-toned powder, and they have a lot of colors. This is just one of my favorites. And I thought the turquoisey blue was really pretty against the corally color in the flowers. So I have some Stick It sheet adhesive on the back, and then I run that through the die cutting machine with the matching die. Kind of crank it through there. And then I wanted to use the sew stamp with that, and that was my clever way of covering up that little ink mark with my finger. And so I embossed that using some royal blue glittery embossing powder, and it didn't show up as well as I'd liked. So you'll see what I do to kind of reinforce that color in a second. And whenever you're heat embossing, you want to let your gun run for a good 60 seconds before you apply it to your paper. So that way it's good and hot, and you apply as little heat to your paper as possible to reduce the chance of warping. And I ran this through my Big Shot with the largest of the Lawn Fawn Stitch Rectangle dies. And then I rubbed around all 4 edges with some Versamark, which is just a clear sticky ink. And then I applied my blue glitter embossing powder around the edges to make a glittered panel. Because I didn't have one that matched the powder from just regular cardstock, so I made my own. And it's perfect that way because the color matches. You don't have to worry about coordinating it or if it's just off a little bit. So heat set that. I love how glittery that is. And so that dark royal blue really makes the corally colors just pop. And it also reinforces the stamped so above the courageous. So our courageous is vellum, but you can't see the adhesive behind it. And that's what I like about the stick kit. So I also cut the butterfly die from the Floral and Flutter die set from Vellum. And then I made those flowers, but I ended up not using them because it just looked too cluttered. So I used some glossy accents to attach the butterfly, and I only attach it along the body of the butterfly and left the wings loose. And gave it a little bit more dimension, a little bit more of a 3D effect. And then some of the glossy accents did squeeze out a little bit, so I just used some adhesive jewels from Doodlebug, 1 blue one in the middle. I was going to do 3, but I liked the single one better. I liked how that looked. And then I used 2 white glitter drops, or enamel dots, also from Doodlebug, 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. And then my sequins are just 4mm sparkling clear from Pretty Pink Posh. And I add those to all the centers of the flowers, just to give it some sparkle, because what card isn't complete without sparkle? And I'll have all of the supplies I use listed in the description box below the video. So if you're wondering where to get it, all of the links will be there as well. And they'll also be on the coordinating blog post. So there's our card, all finished, all pretty, all complete, ready to encourage anybody that's having a bad day or going through something like breast cancer or any kind of illness or disease. You just want to kind of give them a heads up, or a high five rather. Here's my contact information for social media. Here are some stills, and thanks for joining me today. See you later. Bye-bye.